Vigilante Williamson here with a very simple question. That's how good were the Las Vegas, formerly Oakland Raiders? I still think of them as the Oakland Raiders because they were in Oakland so many years. But they're the Las Vegas Raiders now. Las Vegas itself isn't doing too good because they overcharged everything and totally lost the plot with the social contract it had with tourists. But that's another can of worms. We're not talking about Vegas. We're talking about their football team. TLDR, I think 8 or 9 wins. I'm even willing to stick my neck out on 9 wins and being a above 500 team for the first time in years since I think 2021, which was the last time they made a playoff game. So 2024 wasn't that good. Antonio Pierce only had one real full year as a head coach because he was the interim coach in 2023. They gave him all of 2024. It wasn't good. The defense was mid. I think maybe above mid, but because the offense in bad situations, they were the 25th worst ranked scoring defense, right? But they were 15 in yards, 15 in passing yards, 13 in rushing yards. They were in a lot of shootouts and usually behind because of this offense. They had some of the worst quarterbacking of any team in the league. Now they're going to get Geno Smith. Now I know Geno Smith isn't the best quarterback of all time, but you can argue, and it's almost inarguably, that he's been the best quarterback per dollar spent that you could get the past few years. I guess Brock Purdy, if we're being honest. But outside of something like that, where guys in his rookie contract, very few QBs were as productive as Geno Smith for what he's getting paid and what he's still getting paid. He's still not breaking the bank totally, especially as much as the quarterback position really can. You add him to a tight end and Brock Bowers, who was the best tight end in his rookie year. You have a running back, Nash Gentry, who a lot of people are predicting to be one of the best running backs in his rookie year this year. You have Jacoby Myers, who is an above average wide receiver. So you have some pieces on this offense to do something, to be special. And you think about this, okay, your defense really was in the middle of the pack. The best player on that defense, Max Crosby, missed some games. Missed a good 5 games last year. Didn't have the best year last year. And you still had a decent defense. And now you have a new coach, for whatever it's worth, whatever you think of Pete Carroll. And I still think about that play call in the Super Bowl, but he has been a good coach. He had his year off from Seattle. And he's coaching the Raiders now. And you have this new energy with the Raiders, For whatever it's worth, again, with Las Vegas as a city, there's a new energy with Las Vegas. A lot of sports coming into Vegas, which, before the advent of sports gambling was thought of as something that would never happen. But here we are. So with all the hype, with all the energy, with the defense that could be better if the offense was better, there's a lot of reason for me to think this team is going to win 8 or 9 games. Yes, they are in the worst or toughest division. Worst division to be in. But I think they're going to be a good team. It's the type of team that if they were in a better division, or I shouldn't say better, if they were in an easier division, may make the playoffs. I don't think they will. 8 or 9 games, maybe 9 games. But if they were in a different division, they would, and they're going to give a lot of teams a lot of smoke. They're not going to be an easy out, and they are going to probably be in a purgatory for the next few years, honestly. I can see this team being a team that's routinely probably a solid offense, solid defense, but not quite good enough to get over the hump, especially with all these other teams in the AFC West. You got the Chargers, you got the Broncos, and, of course, the Chiefs. And I'm being bold picking the Chargers to win, but it wouldn't shock me if the Chiefs did. It wouldn't shock me if all 3 of those teams win at least 11 games, if not more. It's going to be tough to get into the playoffs in the AFC. Plus, I already predicted teams like the Bengals and the Colts, who's kind of my upset pick to make the playoffs. And then you have teams like maybe the Dolphins. I know a lot of people are up and down on them, pause. And then, of course, you got New England. And then that says nothing about the other potential division winners, with Baltimore and maybe even Pittsburgh as another wild card potential. And then, of course, Bills, the Texans, and other teams like that. There's a lot of teams in the AFC, so it's going to be very hard to make the playoffs, but it's not going to be hard to make noise. After that kind of short intro, let's get into the schedule. the schedule's going to be pretty interesting because they're going to be facing a lot of these teams that I may be predicting to do a little bit better, or some people are predicting to do a little bit better. They got teams, they start off the year with the Patriots, a team that a lot of people are thinking is going to be a much better team. They also got the Bears, who a lot of people, I'm not picking them, but a lot of people are picking them to improve. I am picking the Colts to potentially improve. So they got a lot of these teams that you know, you're not going to be pushovers, and you're going to have to kind of compete to be in that middle of the pack, lower top tier. You're going to have to compete if you do want to prove me wrong and make the playoffs. Even a team like Tennessee, which I'm not expecting to win a ton of games, they're going to be a tough game. So let's get into the schedule. Start off again with New England. That's going to be tough. Then the Chargers on Monday Night Football. It's also going to be tough. Then the Redskins / Commanders. Tough start. And then the Bears, for whatever it's worth. Bears week 4, Colts week 5. That first 5 weeks, you know, tough games. But I don't expect them to go 0-5. I don't. I think they can get a couple of those wins, maybe 2 and 3 to start. I don't know who those wins are going to come against. Wouldn't shock me if they upset a team like the Chargers. The AFC West is going to be competitive. They're going to win and lose games. So all those teams are going to hurt each other. So we'll see. The next stretch of games, you got Tennessee, as I mentioned, and you got Kansas City. They played Kansas City close 2 games last year, and they did not have the talent they have this year. They played them close 2 games last year. They can beat Kansas City. They got enough familiarity to beat Kansas City, so don't be surprised to get them upsetting them. Wouldn't shock me if they split between either the Chargers or the Chiefs, or both the Chargers and the Chiefs, the 2 top teams in this division. Then they have a bye. Then you got Jacksonville coming out of that bye. Got a nice middle of the year bye too, perfect timing. And then you got Jacksonville, which you should beat, but some people are high on them. That's another one of those teams, maybe a little bit better than what you think, because of having, I just talked about the highly touted rookie in Ashton Genty. I don't know if anyone is as touted as Travis Hunter. He already has Brian Thomas Jr. and Trevor Lawrence on that offense. They could. I'm picking the Jacksonville Jaguars to not have the best season. I could be wrong about them, so that's going to be a tough game. Then you got to go into Lucifer land with the Broncos in Denver for week 10. Then you have the Cowboys, another one of those teams. How good are they going to be? Maybe not that good, maybe are good. Then you got the Browns, a team that I think you should beat. Chargers again. I'm expecting a split, so who knows how that is. Broncos again, but this time at home at week 14. Then you got the Eagles. That's going to be a tough game. Obviously, then you got the Texans, a team I think a lot of. On the road in Houston, that's going to be tough. Then you get the Giants, which who knows what team that's going to be. That team has a very tough schedule, but I do think that team has some potential, especially on the defensive end. Then you end the year with the Chiefs, again, a team that you played close twice last year. So I think they're going to sneak out 8 or 9 wins in this schedule. They'll beat some teams maybe that they shouldn't, maybe lose to some teams maybe that they shouldn't, that type of thing. But they're going to be a pretty good team. I think they're going to be a pretty impressive team, an improved team from last year. Still the same position in division, but outside the division, they're going to give a lot of these teams a lot of smoke, and they're going to win some of these games. And, would it shock me if they broke that ceiling of 9? Let's say I'm wrong about one of the top tier teams in the division. What if the Broncos and Bo Nix do have a sophomore slump? Maybe they can get to 10 or 11 wins and sneak in the playoffs. It's not past the realm of possibility with this team. I think this is going to be a much better team than a lot of people think. I know, the past 20 plus years historically, you look at the Raiders and just kind of, they're not going to be that good. They're going to be solid. Now, I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but they're going to compete. They're going to be mathematically in it a lot of these weeks. They're going to bat interesting football. They're going to have a lot of interesting football the last few weeks. I expect them to be one of those teams that the math, they're still in it and still a part of the playoff run, even if they don't make the playoffs, still a part of the playoff story. And, a lot of teams are going to be looking at these games against the Eagles, against the Texans, and oh man, if they win this but lose this, and it's going to be fun. I think they're going to be a very fun team to watch. I think if you are a Raiders fan, you are going to have something to watch. And hey, they can prove me wrong and make the playoffs. So what do you think about the Raiders? Do you think I'm overrating them? Do you think this is going to be a much worse team? Do you predict maybe a 5 or 6 win team? I'm predicting 8 or 9 wins, and even though they'll probably be the last in the division, still being a team that may hit the playoff math or be close to it. Maybe you think they're going to be a lot less. You tell me. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night. God bless. I'll talk to all you guys later. Peace.